All right, my name is James Clar. I graduated class of 2003, along with Milena, and I see a few of my classmates here. So yeah, ITP totally changed my life too. Before ITP, I was doing film and 3D animation, and as soon as I went into ITP, then it kind of shifted over into more kind of sculptural lighting. The idea was to kind of just shift away from this two-dimensional screen, which is just emitting light anyways, and try to control light and use that light as a sculptural medium. So this was 2002. It's Todd and Cindy. And so we were trying to create this this three-dimensional display, this LED display. It was very like tech heavy. I think it had like 40 PIC microprocessors. It was pretty ridiculous. Later on, I was able to like create kind of a streamlined version of it that allowed me to create this kind of spatial pixels, LED pixels, and then that was my thesis. So. But then, like, things kind of just shifted over more into kind of like more into the arts and kind of conceptual works. I lived in Japan then after graduating and did this installation. It's a simple installation. Basically, it's just, there's areas in Japan, in Tokyo, where you're supposed to smoke, so there's smoking areas. So I installed like a laser that just kind of shot through that area. So when there's more smokers, they're basically blowing diffusers, and then the line appears, that this flat line appears in the area. And it just got me thinking more about like kind of social context and kind of, you know, conceptual context and like the environment in which these works kind of take place. I lived in Dubai for 5 years from 2007 to 2012. This piece is called Turbulence. It's a time-lapse image of it, but basically what it is there's a giant pendulum in this studio. And on the end of the pendulum is a single light bulb. There's an industrial fan in the middle of the pendulum. And the industrial fan has a timer that turns on and just swings this single light bulb wildly around the room. So it was like after the global recession, and kind of the world was kind of in flux. So the installation was kind of commenting on that. So now I'm just skipping forward. I have an exhibition right now in London at Carol Fletcher Gallery. It's actually extended. It's going to be till January 10th. But the works here then move further into notions of consciousness and reality and how technology kind of skews that. So one of the main pieces, what I did is I took this laptop and I opened it up, and then I used the EEG reader. Instead of reading my brainwaves, then I placed it onto the microprocessor. So then I'm reading the electrical levels in the brain, you know, the brain of the computer. And so while at the same time then the computer's playing this movie called Existence. Because Existence is that Cronenberg movie about like virtual realities, and like we're all in this kind of shared computer simulation. So the idea was kind of read the brain of a computer as it's thinking about virtual realities, about like simulated realities. So yeah, so on the top, like that's 1 minute of my brain. I wore the EEG unit to sleep, and that's like right at the point where I hit REM stage. So that's like me in this kind of creative, like subconscious state. And then in the bottom is like, that's the reading of the computer brainwaves. So it was different. I mean, it's kind of, I didn't know what to expect, but it is, you know, I did get like kind of weird readings from it. So then I used that information and kind of mapped it onto the lights. So there's kind of this, it looked kind of closer to like this mesh grid mapped onto the lights. So that's basically like from the computer's point of view of a computer thinking. This piece is called Seek. So I opened up a computer again, and then I put a contact microphone on the hard drive. And then I take the clicking noises of the hard drive as it's like searching for data, and it's trying to like get that information, and then I feed it back into the computer. And then that computer then is running a sound interactive visualization. So basically then it generates its own visuals and sound within the system itself. This is called Space as a Hologram. So there's this idea that like, our reality is actually just like a hologram, that we exist in a two-dimensional hologram. So this piece is, you know, one of the ideas of that is that there's this thing called a space pixel, which is, oh shit, I have to go fast. Okay, so anyway, so the idea is that if this is a three-dimensional cube, then if you can look at it through light and color, and you can see kind of a three-dimensional cube, then maybe it's not so much further to think that our reality is two-dimensional. This is still life. This is a computer under water. This is dance therapy. This is like installation with stabilize these this video of these dancers, break dancers, and then I motion tracked it so that their head is always in the same place. And then there's a hanging disco ball in front of it, causes their head to explode.